price up to the spring sale PSN sale. This is a huge sale with a load of games in it, but as usual I've done all the hard work for you. I've gone through the lot and I found some really cool games for you to play, and you can save a lot of money along the way as well. So if you like the idea of finding cool new games to play and saving a ton of money as well, then you're at the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and you won't miss a good deal again. You're welcome here anytime. This sale ends on the 9th of April, so that'll be the last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have AI the Somnium Files. It was released in 2019, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £3.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, especially for an anime game. They're usually pretty pricey. And the sequel, Nirvana Initiative, is also on sale for an 85% discount at the price of £7.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal as well. So if you're interested in the sequel, why not check that out as well. This game is a visual novel, where after a woman's dead body is found at the local theme park, Kanami Date is the assigned detective, and he realizes he knows the victim, so now you must investigate and interrogate suspects to find the killer and solve this sci-fi murder mystery. Now, I really like the look of this game. It looks really different and unique. Just keep in mind it's a visual novel, which means you can have to read a lot of text, so it's more like an interactive book than a gameplay-orientated game. Which is great, because the story's usually really good, and they've put a lot of effort into it, so you usually get a much more in-depth and complicated story than normal, which is really good if you like this sort of thing. So if you're a fan of detective games and visual novels, and maybe a bit of sci-fi and anime as well, then you'll probably have a lot of fun with this game. It's definitely different, and I think people will love it because of that. So if you like the sound of this game, why not check it out? It's very different, and I think if it's your sort of thing, you'll have a lot of fun with it. So why not check it out if you like the sound of it? And hey, if you've never played a visual novel game before, then you could definitely start here. It looks like a very good one, with cool themes and story, for a really low price. So you can't ask for much more really. If you've always been tempted by this genre, or you really like the look of this game, then why not check this out? It might just be the best game you've played in ages. Man, this game hasn't been on sale in ages. Beautiful Desolation. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which it has been on sale for in the past, but it hasn't been this cheap since May 2023. Yeah, you heard me, May 2023. So if you've been waiting to pick this game up, do it now, because it's not on this sale very often. And this version of the game includes a free digital art book and the soundtrack, which is really cool, especially if you're a fan of the game. In this point-and-click adventure, you and your brother have been flung into a futuristic era, ruled by highly advanced technologies. You get to explore a post-apocalyptic African world with over 40 fully voice-acted characters, many beautifully varied locations, and tons of factions as well. Now, this game features top-down isometric gameplay, so it reminds me of the old games back in the day, like the original Fallouts and those sorts of games. It looks really old school in this gameplay, but it looks really good quality as well, with the voice acting being really peak. Most games don't have that, and it has a really cool and interesting world to explore, with an intriguing story to go along with it. So if you're a fan of old school gameplay, or just a fan of this sort of game in general, especially if you like good story in your games, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. Point and click adventures usually aren't for everyone, but this is pretty different because it plays a lot different than the normal ones, and it looks more like they blended old school RPG games with a point and click adventure, which seems really cool to me and I like the idea of that. So if you're a fan of this genre in general, then this looks like a really different example. So if it intrigues you as much as me, especially if you're into sci-fi and the story, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. So if you like the sound of it, definitely check it out. It's definitely very different, and like I said, it's not on sale very often. Check it out while it's still this low. And hey, if you've never played a point-and-click adventure before, then you could start here. It's a bit different than the normal ones, but I really like the look of the game. It looks like it's got a really good quality story, and good production values as well. So if you've always wanted to try a point-and-click adventure, then why not take a look at this one? For this price, you can't go far wrong, and it looks really good quality for the money. So why not check it out if you like the look of it? We have a management game next, Big Pharma. It was released in 2019, so it's 6 years old, and it's on at least an 87% discount for the low price of £3.24 or £1.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really unique game. In this management sim, you get to run your own pharmaceutical company, researching and designing drugs and balancing the books with your conscience by designing and building the production lines in order to manufacture them within your facility's capabilities. So it's up to you really whether you can prioritize making money or saving lives and helping people. Now in general, I really like management games. I think they're really cool and they're always pretty different and unique because they usually cover different industries or different companies, and they're a lot of fun, especially the old theme park ones in the old days, and even the ones where you got to run movie studios and stuff. Back in the day there was a load of these sorts of things, and they were all really good. It's kind of a shame these days that the management sim genre is not as good as it used to be, but hey, it has been making a comeback lately, and this is one of the games doing that. It looks really cool, and it looks really interesting to me. So if you're a fan of management games and you like the idea of making your own pharmaceuticals, then why not take a look at this game? It's at a really low price, and I don't think you can go wrong at this sort of price. So if you're interested, why not check it out? These days it's a bit of a niche genre, but if you're a fan of this sort of thing, then you'll probably have a lot of fun. Why not take a look? And hey, if you've never played a management sim before, then I probably wouldn't start here. You can get bigger AAA ones, or ones that have better reviews, and are just generally more well thought of than this game. But this game is cheap enough that if you're interested in this one in particular, then why not pick it up? But hey, if you'd rather play a different one instead, don't worry, don't miss the videos, and then you won't miss the others when they're on sale next. Bramble the Mountain King is the next game. It was released in 2023, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal for a really interesting game. And this edition includes the PS4 and PS5 version as well, so you get both, which is really cool. In this adventure game, you get to explore a world of Nordic folklore as Ole sets off to rescue his sister from a dreaded troll by exploring a land full of twisted mythical creatures where nothing is exactly as it seems, as you try to survive long enough on your journey to find and rescue your sister. Now, the game doesn't really explain what you are in the description and what I could find out about it, but you seem to be some sort of mythical creature because you're about 3 inches tall, and you get to see other creatures riding on hedgehogs and that sort of thing. And the world seems very interesting to me because the forest and environments that you're adventuring through are full of old mythical creatures from the folklore, and the game promises that they could just be evil and eat you or turn on you at any point. So it seems like a really cool and interesting world to explore. Fans of Nordic folklore will probably absolutely love this game. So if you're a fan of adventure games and you like Nordic folklore, then you should probably take a look at this game. My gut feeling says it's a really cool game and it's got amazing reviews as well. So if you're as interested as I am, why not take a look at it? This world might be the coolest one you've explored in ages. And hey, if you've never played an adventure before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. At this price you can get bigger AAA ones for about the same price, and even more well-known ones that are pretty legendary as well, so you're probably better off starting with one of them instead. Although the Nordic folklore in this game looks really interesting, so if you're intrigued by that, then definitely take a look at this game. You'll probably really enjoy it. But otherwise, like I said, you're probably better off with one of the other ones instead. But don't worry, if you don't miss the videos, you won't miss them when they're on sale next either. We have a racing game next, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged Legendary Edition. It was released in 2023, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £11.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal considering how expensive it normally is. Especially as this edition includes the PS4 and PS5 versions, with the Season Pass 1 and 2, which include 4 new environments and 49 cars, including the Fast and Furious ones. So you're getting a ton of extra cars, and some really famous ones as well, with some new environments on top. So you're getting a lot of content for your money, which is really cool. It's the most complete version of the game you can get, so it's a really good deal. This sequel includes an all-new story mode, with new moves in lateral dashes and single or double jumps, new terrain such as sand or grass, car skill trees and upgrades, over 130 vehicles to drive, multiple game modes, and 12-player online and 2-player local multiplayer as well. Now, I don't know if the online's very active anymore, but at least you can play it locally with your friends or family. It may only be 2-player, but at least there's that. Now, this may be a racing game, but it's a very unique sort of racing game. Kinda reminds me of the old Micro Machines games, if you remember them. We used to drive little toy cars around real-world environments. This is kinda like that to me. From the trailers and the gameplay, you get to ride around real places, but in houses and buildings and that sort of thing. And the cars are the size of actual Hot Wheel toys, which I think is pretty cool. If you're a fan of that brand, then it's basically on brand, and it fits in really well. And I think it's really cool that it uses real cars from the actual brand as well. So if you do collect them in real life, you might get to see some of your favorites in it. So realistically, if you're a fan of Hot Wheels, or you just like racing games and you like arcadey ones that have combat abilities and really cool stages to race around, then you might really enjoy this game. It's very different and unique these days, and it may be niche, but I think for people that like it, they'll have a lot of fun with it. So like I said, if you're a fan of Hot Wheels and you like racing games, why not check this out? It may just bring back your childhood. And hey, if you've never played a racing game before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It is a little pricey compared to some of the other games you can pick up, and you can get big AAA legendary ones for cheaper than this as well. So you're much better off starting with one of them instead. But don't worry, I'll let you know when they're on sale next, so don't miss a video, and then you won't miss out in the future. I really like the look of the next game, Itorah. It was released in 2023, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.19, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really cool looking game. In this Metroidvania, mankind has vanished and a mysterious plague infests the land, and Itorah seems to be the last of her kind, setting out with her talking axe in a world of strange masked beings to find the truth and cure the plague before it consumes everything. Now, I'm a big fan of Metroidvania games, I've played a lot of them, and some of them can be some of the best games you've ever played. And I really like the look of this one. The art style looks absolutely beautiful. The backgrounds and the graphics are hand painted, so they look truly beautiful. You could take screenshots from this game and use them as backgrounds for your computer. That's how good they look. And the gameplay looks really cool as well. It's got great reviews and people seem to really love it. All in all, my gut says this is a hidden gem. Why I haven't heard about it before, I don't know. I'm pretty interested myself, and I think if you're a fan of Metroidvanias, then this looks like a good quality one for a really low price. So if you're as enamored by the graphics as I am, and you really like the Metroidvania game genre, then you should definitely take a look at this. It looks like a really good quality game with really great production values for a really fair price. So why not take a look at it if you like the sound of that? I know I'm tempted myself, and I think you will be as well. And hey, if you've never played a Metroidvania before, then you could start here if you're really interested in this one, but you can get big AAA ones for about the same price, and even legendary ones for a little bit more as well. So I'd probably recommend you start with one of them instead. But hey, if you really like the look of this one, it looks like a really good quality one at a really good price, so you can definitely start here if you're interested. But if not, don't worry, there'll be plenty more covered in future videos, so don't miss them and then you won't miss out in the future. Our next game is Journey to the Savage Planet, Employee of the Month Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really good quality game, as this edition includes the PS4 and PS5 version, with improved 60 FPS performance, and all the DLC included, with some new cinematics as well, so you're getting the best version of the game, with all of the content included, which is really great. You can't ask for much more really. In this first-person shooter, you play as a member of the Kindred Aerospace, and it's your job to determine if planet ARY-26 is fit for human habitation by exploring, cataloguing flora and fauna, and fighting the local wildlife on your way to completing your planetary survey. Now, this game seems pretty old school to me, in that it's a single-player, story-driven game. You explore different areas, fight giant bosses, and just generally have a good time with a load of different weapons, and a really cool world to explore, which sounds great to me. I much prefer the single-player FPSs than the multiplayer-focused ones you see these days. So if you're like me and you like really cool single-player FPS, then why not take a look at this one, especially if you're into sci-fi themed games. You'll probably have a lot of fun with this one. It's a really good quality game that's got really good reviews, and I think if you're into sci-fi and FPS, then you'll have a lot of fun with this. So definitely take a look at it if you like the sound of it. It might just be the best FPS you've played in ages. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's a really good game at a fair price, but you can get other ones cheaper than this, and even legendary ones in bundles of multiple games for about the same price as this. So you're much better off starting with that instead, because it's much better value. And they're legendary games. But hey, if you're really into this one, then take a look at it. But you do have much better options at about this price. But don't worry, I'll let you know when they're on sale next. Just don't miss the videos, and then you won't miss out. We have a superhero game next, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy PS4 and PS5 edition. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £8.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as this version includes both the PS4 and PS5 versions. In this action-adventure, you get to experience an original story, as a chain of catastrophic events starts an interplanetary meltdown, and it's up to you and the Guardians to stick together and get to the bottom of this before it's too late for everyone. Now, this is completely independent of the Marvel movies, so don't expect to see the movie versions that you love so much. Yes, they're the same characters, but they're based on the comics, and what I mean by that is there's no Chris Pratt in this. This is an independent interpretation based on the comic books. So if you're a fan of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, not specifically the movies, or maybe adjacent to the movies, then you'll probably really like this. But hey, for a Marvel game, this looks really good. It's got really good reviews, it's a really cool action-adventure in a really cool universe with great characters, and because it's based on the comic books and it's a unique story, it means no one's seen this before. It's based in a world that's very popular, but it's unique for everyone. So anyone that's a fan of Guardians will probably enjoy this, as long as they're okay with it not being the actual ones from the movies. So if you're into sci-fi space adventures, and you like superheroes, or specifically the Guardians, then you might want to take a look at this. It's a pretty good action-adventure game, and if you're a fan of Marvel and you want to see more of the Guardians, then you'll probably have a lot of fun with it. So if you like the sound of that, definitely take a look at it. There's a lot of fun to be had if you like the look of this game. And hey, if you've never played an action-adventure before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. You can get other ones cheaper than this, and even big AAA legendary ones cheaper than this as well. So I'd only recommend starting here if you're a massive fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. But for everyone else, there'll be plenty more games for you to choose from in this sale and future ones as well. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale in future videos. I really like this next game, Never Alone Arctic Collection. It was released in 2015, so it's 10 years old, and is on an 80% discount for the price of £3.19, which is a really good price for a cool game, especially as this edition includes all of the extra DLC levels as well, so you get the complete version of the game for one low price, which is really great. This puzzle platformer follows the traditional Re-PAC tale of a young girl and fox as they search for the source of an eternal blizzard ravaging their village. It also includes documentary video and information regarding the story of the Re-PAC people, which is really cool. The objective when they made this game was just to give a bit more of the culture to everyone, just to document their culture and customs through the story of the game and the documentary information as well, which is pretty cool. Now back in the day, this was a PS Plus game way back, and I completed it back then, and I really enjoyed it. You should know by now I'm a big fan of puzzle platformers, and this was a really cool one. It had a really cool art style, and the story was interesting, especially considering it was based on the folklore of the actual people. It was really interesting to explore that through the game, and it was a really cool little story, and it won tons of awards back in the day, and deservedly so. It's a really good quality game with a really interesting subject. So if you're a fan of puzzle platformers and you really like the look of this one, then you should check it out, especially if you're interested in the culture. It's a really cool little game, especially as the last time I seen it at this price, it was December 2022, which was ages ago. So if you are interested, it might be a good time to pick it up because it hasn't been on sale this low in ages. So if you're a fan of puzzle platformers like me, and you're intrigued by the cool and interesting folklore within this game, then why not take a look at it? It's got some cool documentary stuff, and you get to learn a bit about the culture, which is really cool. So if you're as interested as I think you should be, then definitely check it out. It's a really cool little game with a really cool subject matter. And hey, if you've never played a puzzle platformer before, then you could definitely start here. You can sometimes get others a little bit cheaper than this, but this is a really different and unique game. It's got a very unique story, and a really cool and intriguing look into a culture that many people have never heard of, which is really cool. So if you're as intrigued by that as I think a lot of people will be, then definitely take a look at this one. But if not, don't worry, you can pick up bigger AAA ones for about the same price or lower as well. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss the other options in future sales. We have a racing game next, Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway Turbo Edition. It was released in 2024, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, especially as this edition includes both the PS4 and PS5 versions, plus 5 additional races of Zuko and Ozai from Avatar, Eastman, Laird Raphael, and Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, plus Slime Kart parts and Kids' Choice Award paint jobs as well. So again, a few extra races and a load of extra content for the best version of the game you can buy, which is great. This kart racer was rebuilt from the ground up, bigger and better than ever, with over 40 iconic races, 36 tracks, voice acting, transforming karts, different racing terrains, kart customization, 90 crew members, 4-player local, and 12-player online multiplayer as well, which is really great. I'm assuming the online's still pretty busy because it's quite a new game, but also you get the 4-player local, which is great for kart games. They really should have that for all of them, because it makes them great for parties and just for playing with friends or family, or anyone else that happens to be around. Everyone can play a kart racer, you don't need to be a gamer, and it's a lot of fun for everyone, which is great. And especially if you're a big fan of Nickelodeon from the golden age, you'll recognize a load of the characters in this game, and it'll bring back all your childhood memories, which is great. Now outside of Nintendo, it's hard to get a game like Mario Kart. They don't really make a lot of them, and they're not usually the same sort of quality as that. But hey, this looks like a really good alternative. Nickelodeon has some iconic characters, which make it really cool to play, and it just looks like a really good game, full of really cool characters, for a really decent price as well. So if you're a fan of kart racers, then why not take a look at this? Especially if you're a big fan of Nickelodeon, you'll probably really love it. So why not check it out if you like the sound of it? It might just be the best kart racer you've played outside of Nintendo. And hey, if you've never played a kart racer before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good quality one, full of really iconic characters at a really low price with a load of extra content included, which is great. It's what you want from every game you buy, really. So if you're interested in this genre, then why not check this out? It's a lot of fun. If you give it a chance, I think you'll have a great time. But don't worry, if you're not into kart racers, there's plenty more games for you to choose from in this sale and future videos as well. So don't worry about it if you're not interested. We have an unusual game next, No More Heroes 3. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £8.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really cool and interesting game, especially as it includes the PS4 and PS5 version with 4K and 60 FPS improvements, and the deluxe edition is also on sale, but it only includes the soundtrack and digital art book. So if you're not really interested in that because it's not actual game content, then you can save some money and just get this normal version. But hey, if you're a fan and you want that, then you can pick that up as well. It's on sale for the same discount, so just check it out. It's only a little bit more if you want that. And Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes Complete Edition is also on sale for 88% discount, £3.95, which is a really great deal. So if you're interested in that as well, then check that out. In this hack and slash game, legendary assassin Travis Touchdown returns to the Gardens of Madness to make it to the top of the galactic superhero rankings before the evil Prince Fu and his 10 alien underlings take over the Earth forever. And it features an all-new open world, because these games don't normally have that, so they're trying to expand it in new ways, which is pretty interesting. Now, these games are pretty bonkers. They were really huge when they came out, and I think they were Nintendo exclusive. I think they were on like the Wii or that sort of era, and they were really popular. They were really bonkers and off the wall. I mean, you can see that from some of the screenshots. It's really out there and kooky. But hey, at the heart, they're really good action games, and they're just a lot of fun, as long as you're okay with really quirky and kooky game mechanics. It may not be for everyone, but this series is a bit iconic at this point. It had a really niche fan base that really love it. So if you're a fan of the series, or you just like really different and off-the-wall games, then you definitely want to take a look at this series. It's really different and unique, but it's a lot of fun if you're into this sort of thing. It'll be a lot of fun if nothing else. And hey, if you've never played a hack and slash game before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's a bit expensive compared to other games you can buy, including the earlier one, which is also on sale way cheaper. So if you're just going to pick one, start there instead. But also there's plenty more games in this price range that are legendary or big AAA games as well. So you have a lot of choice in this genre, and there'll always be games to choose from in the future. So if you're not interested in this game, I'd recommend starting with one of the others instead. But don't worry, if you don't miss the videos, then you won't miss out on the future sales. We have a remake of a retro game next, Pac-Man World Re-PAC. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, but I think the original was a PS1 game originally, so you're talking like nearly 30 years old. And it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, for a really cool looking retro game. And this edition includes the PS4 and PS5 version, and it features improved UI, gameplay and graphics from the original. So you are getting an improved version of the original game for the best version that's been made, which is really cool. In this adventure platformer, the ghosts have kidnapped Pac-Man's family and friends, and now you must set out to rescue them from the evil Pac-Man while solving environmental puzzles. It features a 3D maze mode and the original Pac-Man game when you finish the main quest mode, which is really cool for them to include that. Now, this game was pretty cool back in the day. It was pretty popular, especially because it reinvents Pac-Man. I mean, originally it was a 2D arcade game, and now it's like a full 3D adventure platformer. But that sort of genre was really popular on the PS1. Games like Spyro and Croc and that sort of thing made it really popular, so everybody was making these sorts of games back then. And even though this was a cash-in of the Pac-Man license, it was actually a really good game, and people look at it fondly now as well. So if you're a fan of old school adventure platformers, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. Especially if you're really into Pac-Man or retro games, then there'll be a lot for you to like in this. So hey, if you like the sound of this retro game and graphics and gameplay improvements, then you can't ask for much more really. It's a really cool old school game with some modern improvements, which is great. If you're into this sort of thing, definitely check it out. It'll be a really fun game for people that remember these. And hey, if you've never played an adventure platformer before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. You can get other bigger AAA, more modern ones cheaper than this, and even legendary ones as well. So unless you're a massive fan of Pac-Man, you're probably better off starting with one of them instead. But don't worry, if you don't miss the videos, you won't miss them when they're on sale next. Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition is our next game. It was released in 2018, so it's 7 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really cool looking game, as this edition includes the new modes with randomized objectives and enemies, a new class, weaponry, enemies, and customizations as well. So you're getting the best version of the game, with all of the content included, which is really good. In this first-person shooter, you get to play as a space marine of the Deathwing and engage in a desperate battle against gene stealers within a Space Hulk. You get to gain skills and abilities while playing solo, and it has 4-player online co-op as well. So if you've got a group of friends to play with, this could be a really cool game for you. Now I'm quite surprised I haven't heard more about this, because in general Warhammer 40,000 is very popular, and this looks like a really good first person shooter. It looks like a really cool action oriented game with really cool weapons and great combat. It really looks cool and interesting to me, and I think fans of 40k would absolutely love this game, so I'm surprised it's not heard of more or talked about more in general, especially with the new Warhammer games that came out that were really popular. I'm surprised I haven't heard anything about this. I know it's old, but it just looks really good. So if you like your first person shooters, single player based, and you like playing them with a mate, especially if you've got a group of friends and 4 players can play this together, I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with this. So why not pick it up? It's cheap and you can all play together and have a great time. Or if you're just a fan of 40k, you might just like it on your own. You'll probably love this. Definitely check it out. It looks like a really fun game that deserves to be more well known. I think you'll have a lot of fun if you give it a chance. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then you could start here if you're really into 40k, but if not, you've got so many options, you basically just pick the one that you like the theming of the most. And if this is the one, then start here, but if not, you'll have plenty more to choose from in future videos, so don't miss them, and then you'll have a ton to choose from in the future as well. I really like the look of the next game. Terminator Resistance. It was released in 2019, so it's 6 years old. On PS4 it's on a 75% discount for the price of £8.74, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal. And on PS5 it's on the same discount, but the price is £9.99, because it's the enhanced edition, which is more expensive, but it's still the cheapest I've ever seen it, and it's a really great deal, especially because it's the enhanced version, which has better graphics, FPS, and loading times, which is really cool. Now I've listed both prices here because there's no upgrade between the two games, so you have to pick the one you want because you can't upgrade to the other one. Make sure you pick up the right one, the prices are different, you can't confuse them really. And just so you know, the DLC for the game is exclusive to PS5, so if you have the PS4 one you can't get it. Well, I don't know if they're going to release it in the future, but right now you can't. But the DLC for PS5 is also on sale for 50% discount, $5.99. So if you wanted the whole thing, that's on sale right now, although I'd want more of a discount than that really. In this first-person shooter, you get to experience the events leading up to the decisive final battle for the fate of mankind by fighting alongside a group of resistance survivors, and it features stealth mechanics, skills to upgrade, and resource collecting and trading as well. Now, I've been watching this game for ages because I really want to play it. I'm just waiting for it to be a really good deal. Now, this is a good price right now. Ideally, I'd like a complete edition for the PS5 one that includes the DLC, and then for that to be on like a 90% discount. That'd be perfect. But hey, who knows if it'll get that low. Now, for a bit of background, the studio that made this game, they're a really small studio and they initially made pretty poor games. They made a Rambo game that was really poor and really badly reviewed, and when people criticised them, they actually replied and they were like, hey, we're a small studio, we've got a very small budget, we made the game, we know it's not great, but the money we take from that we're going to put into the next game and improve on it. And they did that and they made this game, and this game was reviewed maybe a 6 out of 10 generally. Everybody didn't rave about it, but it wasn't a terrible game either. And then after this, they went and made RoboCop. Yep, RoboCop Rogue City, the one that came out recently and everybody loved. It's that studio. As they're getting bigger and they're being able to spend more money, they're making better games. And they're making them with really cool legendary franchises. So if you bought that recent RoboCop game and you really enjoyed it, this was made by them. So you know that they love the IP and they've treated it well. So if you've got PTSD like I do from all of the modern Terminator films that are garbage, this is what you want to be playing really. It's based around the T2 story and it's a really cool game. If you're a fan of Terminator, like I am, then you're probably really interested. And you're not going to mind that it's not the best FPS ever made. All you're going to care about is that it's a really decent one set in a universe that you really love. So if you're like me and you're interested in that, definitely check this out. If you're a fan of it like me, I think you'll be very interested. I know I am and I can't wait to pick it up at some point. Now, my dream is, if you remember back in the day, there used to be a game series called RoboCop vs. Terminator. And I'm like, well, this game company, they've made a Terminator game, they've made a RoboCop game, so they've got the rights, right? So, maybe they'll make a RoboCop vs. Terminator game and all our dreams will come true. You never know, but we can hope. Anyway, if you're a fan of this stuff like me, check this out. If you're as keen as I am, I'm sure you'll be dying to play this as well. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. Like I said, it's not the best game ever made, and especially if you're not a Terminator fan, you probably shouldn't play the game. But hey, if you're really keen like I am, then check it out. But if not, don't worry, you have plenty of games to choose from, and a lot of them are massive, legendary AAA ones, and they're even cheaper than this as well. So don't worry, keep up with the videos, and you'll have plenty to choose from in the future. And the final game I have for you is my star by Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Chaotic Great Edition. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of $15.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal considering how expensive it normally is. And this edition includes the PS4 and PS5 version, with the Dragon Lord pack and the Season Pass that includes 4 new dungeons, a new hero class, and tons of cosmetics and items. So you're getting a load of extra content for the complete version of the game, which is really cool. In this first-person shooter, you get to explore a chaotic fantasy world full of bullets, magic, and broadswords as you roll your own multi-class hero and fight through outlandish monster-filled dungeons on a quest to stop the tyrannical Dragon Lord, and it features 4-player online and local multiplayer as well. Now, this series may not be as big as the Borderlands series, but hey, it's a really good game with really good reviews, and people seem to really enjoy it, and especially considering it's got 4-player local and online multiplayer, then it's a really good game to play with friends, especially as it's got the dungeon aspect where you're going through dungeons and looting. It's a really cool setup for 4-player co-op. So if you're a fan of this, or you've got a group of friends that you play games with regularly, then you should probably check this out. It's definitely not an FPS for everyone, but it's fun for a group of friends, and it's really cool and chaotic. If you're a fan of crazy sort of games, then there's a lot of fun to be had here. Especially if you're a fan of the Borderlands games, you'll probably like this game as well. Especially because you can play it locally, it'll be great for playing with friends or family at your house, or even at parties. So why not take a look at this? Like I said, it's my style buy. It's well worth your time and money, I promise. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I probably wouldn't recommend starting here. It's a really good game with a load of content, but it is pretty pricey. So if you're going to start with an FPS, you're probably better off picking a cheaper one, and even a legendary one as well. But don't worry, if you subscribe and you don't miss the videos, you'll have plenty to choose from in the future, so don't worry about it. But hey, if you're really into this game or you like the look of it, it is my style buy, so it is a really good deal, and it's got a load of really cool content. So if you are really interested, you could check this out as well. Just be aware, there are much cheaper alternatives if you're not sure. And that's all the games I have for the spring sale PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the style buy? Did it deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your comments below and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you found some really cool games to play, but more importantly, I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.